Hello everybody, Lewis with Tactical Response. We're just getting our Christmas toy drive, the Charitable Warrior stuff sorted out, so I have some of that on the table. I made a post about a R.A.T.s tourniquet on Instagram the other day. I put the tourniquet on, obviously there was no pulse. I checked with a pulse oximeter. People are saying that that's not accurate and you need to use a Doppler or checking your pulse manually is more accurate than a pulse oximeter. Like if I took my pulse with my own hand and told everybody I had no pulse, they're not gonna fucking believe me. So I hooked it up to the pulse oximeter, which is getting no reading, which when I put it on my other hand, got reading. So obviously something is happening here, right? But not TCCC approved, right? TCCC will not approve anything with elastic in it, okay? Let's talk about what is TCCC approved and is shit. This SAM tourniquet, right? TCCC approved, great. Like, okay, empty pockets out. Put this on my leg. Great. So now, as I pull, it's gonna spring load, right? And I know it's not high enough. I'm trying to show that this thing is going to deploy those before it really should. Just trying to get it tight, it's gonna deploy them. Both of those tabs, it has to be pulled at the same angle, right? So if we reset this, if I'm just trying to pull, those punches are not gonna go in there. It's then gonna fall right the fuck off. This is TCCC approved. You're gonna trust your life on that? When you go to pull it with everything you got and they don't fucking latch, both of them, this ain't gonna bail you out of that problem. So TCCC approved, not something I would wanna bet my life on. Not doing it on myself, not one-armed or one-handed for sure. So again, we'll reset it. If I pull it this way, oh, R.A.T.s are harder to apply than anything else. Seems like I have to get this thing clocked right in order to get it pulled, because I got nothing left to pull out here. Okay, then I start pulling this way, I got Velcro on Velcro. I can't make it any tighter. So ease of application, this has to be in the right position where I can get all that slack out of it. And again, if I'm pulling in at any kind of angle, I'm not gonna get those two things to deploy where they're supposed to. So to me, this is a TCCC tourniquet that I'd use to like put stuff on a bag, like tie down for a bag. It's not something I would want anybody I love to use to save their life. All right, cat tourniquets, great, right? These I don't have many problems with. I'll come back to this one. Soft T wide, another one everybody wants to love on because they pack up small, right? TCCC approved, all that. This locking piece, the way it slides down, you can end up, pull on that, pull on it, pull on it, pull on, yeah. Like I am pulling with everything I've got. So does that mean I should start doing the windlass now? Because I'm pulling it. No, I gotta kind of ratchet everything the fuck out of it and it gets bound up. It has to be pulled at a correct angle. And now, and ratcheted back and pulled, and even that correct angle starts turning to be where you have to pull it around this side. Now, where's my fucking windlass? It's in my armpit or my fucking crotch. How am I supposed to spin it? Like, it has to be clocked right. So if we're applying them to other people or we have use of both hands, yes, I can get this tight enough, but I don't like the fact that I can get this entire tourniquet to spin, right, on my arm. Like, you saw, it's here. Like, it's it's still spinning. There's not all the slack pulled out. That first pull is the most important when you're using a windlass style tourniquet. All right. Additionally, with these, if I then try and make up slack, if that pile of twists kind of falls over onto this side, it moves the windlass. I guess I can show that. Over here. So depending on how many spins on the windlass I need, right? It could pull that band up this way. As this starts spinning more than one turn, you'll see it has to either fall that way, or if I spin it the wrong way, it'll want to fall this way. Now that puts this further to a point where you can't get it caught in this triangle. So again, one-handed, I'm not a huge fan of these. The newer generations do have a better slide and lock, kind of one-way valve for the nylon, lack of a better term there. A R.A.T., I can literally throw this at somebody and say, put this on your leg as high as you can, as tight as you can. And even if they are the least common sense having motherfucker in the world, right? And they go like this and start stretching every bit of the elastic out, and they tie this motherfucker in a knot right here, some kind of trucker's hitch or some, like anything, put this on tight, you can get occlusion. I've seen it done. I've seen people pull this loop out by accident, not take the time to rethread it, just run it as tight as you can. If you get all this stretch out by putting it on tightly, it will occlude. Yes, could you possibly create pockets where some blood is going to be sitting in between the straps of this? Sure. Every argument that is comfort and nerve damage versus what stops the bleeding the fastest is a faulty argument, in my opinion. The object is to stop the massive blood loss as fast as possible under stressful conditions, potentially with one hand, potentially without being able to see the limb that you're working on, right? And this tourniquet in our shoot house, when we go back there and we do our force on force training after our medical classes, this is the tourniquet that most students gravitate towards because it is fast to apply and can be done so under stress. If you get it wrong, you can't really get it wrong, all right? You can also hold progress with it. Again, I don't really have anything bad to say about CATs or the ETQs that are out there, the snake system stuff. They're fine, but I definitely have seen people under stressful situations like fuck this up and get it in here and have a loop like that where, see, I got that Velcro is pulled, and they'll get it kind of where it's spooled up under there. Think that this pull is tight, and then work the windlass until that bit of slack pops out. I don't want to have to do 4 or 5 turns on windlass. A proper application of a tourniquet like this, you should be getting half a turn to maybe a full turn should be enough to take you over the line. You want to get everything as tight as you possibly can, and notice how that, when I pull straight out at an angle, much better than the soft TY. right? I can pull straight out at an angle, and I want to get every bit of that stretch, or they're not stretch, but every bit of slack out that I can there, right? If I get it on my arm, again, under stressful situation, right? I hold the tourniquet, slide my arm through. I've got Velcro on Velcro, like it'll pop loose. Again, I have an issue right now. Like I need to reset where this windlass is because it's going to be a problem with my shoulder. Another thing, smaller people, and it's not infants only, skinnier adult humans, right? Like I've seen skinny men and definitely a ton of women whose arms are not thick enough. Like let's say size of my forearm here. All right, now I get the windlass going. That windlass is a straight line. You guys see how many times it's popping off here? Now, can I get it to bend in the keepers? Right now, maybe I can, barely. It takes work. It doesn't want to. Notice the curvature. Once this plate gets curved, look, the windlass goes from wanting to be in there and in line with the ears to something like that, right? And again, that's not the size of the limb. We're talking, let's see if it'll work on my wrist. So on my wrist, and depending on where on my wrist, right? So if the plate is here, right at kind of the thinnest point of my wrist, right? I'm not gonna be able to get that there. If it's on the thickest part of my wrist, where the plate is sitting, I might be able to get it in there. But again, mights versus I can take this on a limb that size and literally just start wrapping, get it tight. Like it is fast, easy, and efficient. It just is. We see hundreds, if not thousands, of applications of these a year under stress in scenarios in our immediate action medical class, as well as our force on force class, the fight. So if you're arguing with me from your keyboard, having never done this with your heart rate jacked, worried about another potential bad guy coming around a corner, right? Because you've got all the time in the world to put this on when you practice, if you've ever practiced it, or you just watched a video of someone putting it on so you think you're going to be able to do it. Like, I see these work. I see it in our force on force scenarios. I can't tell you how many poor applications of cats I've seen back there. And is that on the user more than the tourniquet? Yes, 100%. But same skill level of user, give them this piece of equipment and more 100% tourniquet applications under stress in force on force environments. I've seen many more done with this than I have with this. I've very rarely seen one-handed applications of these work. Very rarely one-handed applications due to that lockup just happening too soon, as I said. And what happens when someone throws this on their arm the wrong way? What do I do now? Like, try? I mean, you keep going, do what you got to do, but I'm costing myself time here. And if I didn't think to spin it around that way, am I going to take it off? Like, why introduce Hicks law to all these problems? Like, I don't know why all the hubbub about it. Like, there are many things that work, each for different things. Do I keep some of these in my vehicle med bags? Sure. I've got a few of these in vehicle bags. I've got a bunch of these, tons of them. Whether it's actual Cat 7s, Cat 5 up, the Recons. I mean, now Rhino Rescue. I mean, windlass tourniquets are great, love them. But what's on me every day, no matter what, is a R.A.T.s. This is the one that I have seen people under stress able to apply the fastest with greatest effect. So post videos of you actually trying one of these and tell me why I'm wrong, but I'm not worried about nerve damage. Guess what? I cut this finger off in 2011. I can't feel it because of the nerve damage, right? Severed nerve that never regrew. So I can't really feel this finger. Guess what? I get to complain about that while still counting to 10. So my arm being numb or something like that is a concern after the fact that you have kept all your blood in your body. That's all I've got on R.A.T.s tourniquets. This will be the last video I make about them. And remember, your responsibility to be ready for the fight never ends.